Of all the reasons to keep playing a game, the secret cutscene is one of the coolest. Sure, hidden boss fights challenge you to relearn things you've mastered across an entire runtime, and a tucked away room or two might have a neat secret weapon or a particular item, but putting the controller down and bathing in your own reward, that is the good stuff. A secret celebration, plot resolution, what-if scenario, or whatever else the developers could think of, left for only the most die-hard fans to discover. As gaming has advanced each decade, these hidden scenes have become so much more elaborate as well. Now being able to render in full facial expression-filled HD, some devs hide entire optional storylines or pieces of lore behind methods that you'd only stumble upon by accident or use a guide to tease out. Now, we already covered a bunch of these hidden scenes over in an original video, but that only encouraged us to go deep diving further. Other examples ranged from Metal Gear Solid 5 to Shadow Complex, Crash Bandicoot 2 to Uncharted Golden Abyss, the latter of which I really recommend you check out. In an industry where every year there's a multi-month lull for one reason or another, why not take the time to dive back into your favorite games and see what you've missed? I'm Scott from WhatCulture.com, and these are 8 more hidden video game cutscenes you weren't meant to see. Number 8, Batman's Death. Batman Arkham City. Rocksteady's Batman games might let you control a walking mound of muscle and haymakers most of the time, but the devs also pushed the idea of Bruce genuinely struggling under the weight of being the Dark Knight for days on end. Each entry in the series sees his batsuit torn to shreds over time, and in Arkham City in particular, Bruce can full-on die if you don't complete a mission the right way. Coming when you control Catwoman as she's amassed a fortune and is about to hightail it out of Gotham, Selina Kyle notes that she'll never forgive herself if she takes the money and leaves Wayne to die. The camera pans back around and very much tells you where to go, but you don't actually need to save Batman at all. Continue to leave the building and you'll get an alternate credit sequence where Bruce was never saved. The rubble did crush him after all, and various Gotham pedestrians can be heard screaming as the city falls to ruin. Still, it's a better ending than The Dark Knight Rises. Number 7, Self-Destructing in the Bunker, NieR Automata. Easily one of the most essential games of the PS4/Xbox One generation, NieR Automata's long-form dissection of humanity, emotion, belonging, routine, and purpose is one of the true greats. Platinum deliver more expert combat, and it felt like creative director Yoko Taro was allowed to write whatever the hell he wanted. Thankfully, it more than worked out, and one awesome feature comes from you being able to remix and swap around your own android's entire chipset. Whilst you can disable everything from enemy life bars to HUD elements, even disabling yourself and ending the game right there and then, this mentality extends to some gameplay possibilities too. Simply hold L3 and R3 and you'll self-destruct, reducing 2B or 9S's health down to 1 HP. Do this back on home base though, and you'll take the entire fleet of companions and helpful robot buddies with you. Called the U ending standing for debunked, the game notes that it sure did look pretty from Earth, before speeding through the credits and kicking you back to the main menu to try again. Number 6, Getting Caught Cheating, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. When GTA San Andreas came out, it genuinely felt like Rockstar could conjure an entire world on the other side of the screen. The sandbox of AI, experimentation within missions, fact that you could customize CJ with everything from fast food intake to exercise programs, there was a surprising amount of depth that ended up being ditched going forward. One thing that many forget though is the optional dating system. Overshadowed by the hot coffee scandal it was attached to, referring to fully clothed sex scenes that you could unlock at one point in development, the romance options that shipped with the game were far more tame. At least up to a point. Still letting you date up to 6 women across all of San Andreas, you'd have to give gifts, go on dates, dress a certain way, or even get ripped to trigger all potential dialogue options and unlockable cars. However, in one of the best ways to address our wayward gamer minds, if you start dating more than one person and happen to be in the same area as another, a chase scene will kick in. Get caught and both ladies will insult you, your relationship percentage goes down, and you get booted off the date with the game saying that it's all over. Number 5, Smelly Snake, Metal Gear Solid 5 The Phantom Pain. To this day, I have no idea why there's a wash mechanic in Metal Gear Solid 5 or a pee and poop mechanic in Death Stranding. The latter even gives you grenades made of poop that can be thrown at interdimensional demons because Hideo Kojima. Back to MGS5 though, and besides this idea of cleanliness extending to gods sniffing you out of the shadows if you're absolutely humming, Revolver Ocelot and the guys back at base will only put up with so much. Now, you'll have to be unwashed for a considerable amount of game time, but upon returning to Mother Base, you'll be greeted with a secret cutscene of all your soldiers struggling not to throw up. Ocelot flat out says, "Boss, you stink," before throwing a bucket of water on you. Brilliantly, MGS5 contains a ton of optional scenes just like this, many of them triggered under negative circumstances. If your troop morale gets too low, for example, you'll see the soldiers have formed a makeshift fight club, and all hell is starting to break loose. Quit the game for too long after taking D-Dog out on a mission and leaving when back in the AAC helicopter, and you'll get a scene of the bestest boy welcoming boss back with a ton of licks and affection when you decide to play again. Obviously, this scene is nice enough, but you only trigger it by abandoning your pooch for months on end. Ocelot even points out that it sets a bad example for the men. Number 4, the B-side story, Tenchu, Wrath of Heaven. Every day without another Tenchu is a damn sad day, but Wrath of Heaven at least gave us plenty to reminisce about. Now, although this isn't something massively hidden behind hacks or secret codes, to date the developers have never discussed its purpose, and the hidden audio track kinda breaks the story just for a laugh. Let me explain. So to unlock these B-side cutscenes, you need to complete all levels on Grandmaster difficulty, for both Rikimaru and Ayame. Afterwards, dive into the game's settings and you can change the dialogue to Side B. However, rather than be a reward, Side B is a run-through of the story where everything is different. Clearly done parody style where the voice actors made most of it up as they went along, everything from guards coming on to Teshu to Ayame's relationship with the Echigoya modeling agency is mentioned. Sadly, only a handful of lines are changed in randomized scenes, making it feel like these were outtakes left in for completionists to eventually find. Number 3, the game finishes itself, Far Cry 5. One of the strangest ways for a game to quote-unquote end, Far Cry 5 carries on Far Cry 4's legacy of including a secret ending masquerading as an Easter egg, where Far Cry 4 let you play a small portion of meeting Troy Baker's pagan Min, watching him be a total psycho and even discussing the possibilities of laying your parents to rest, thereby completing the main quest. Far Cry 5's secret ending asks you to do nothing. Literally, just put the controller down from moment 1, and when attempting to arrest Joseph Seed at his compound, your character will slowly back away instead. Companions get confused and enraged, but providing you commit to not playing the game, your crew will also leave as well. Seed carries on with his doomsday plan as normal, and the full credits roll. Although, even this game's good ending does result in a nuclear bomb going off and Joseph Seed being right all along, so maybe it was best to just get out of there while you could. Number 2, do literally everything wrong, Heavy Rain. Not gonna lie, I love Heavy Rain. I love its stupidly ambitious 4-way story that tells the tale of a kidnapped child through the lens of a grieving father, reporter, special agent, and private detective. I love that David Cage, even after creating multiple prior games featuring branching narratives, and one where the internet itself is the villain, realized that he could go one further. Paying full-on tribute by way of recreation to David Fincher, Heavy Rain is the much worse voice-acted equivalent of movies like Seven or Zodiac, at least to fans like me. Best of all, you had a ton of agency in the story. Dialogue options and clues to ultimately solve the case were left up to you to piece together. And characters could even die along the way, reframing the narrative for the next handful of chapters. All that said, did you know that there is an ending where literally everything goes wrong? Father Ethan Mars hangs himself in a jail cell because you let him get arrested. Journalist Madison Page dies while leaping out of the wrong window from a burning building. Agent Norman Jaden melts his own brain by relying on his ARI augmented reality software too much, and Scott Shelby, well, him being the killer, he just walks off into the night, continuing his killing spree with no opposition. You would have had to play spectacularly badly to get this, but it's pretty incredible that Cage and his team accounted for such an outcome. And number 1, a hidden South Park episode, Tiger Woods PGA Tour 99. Remember when the Tiger Woods games were on top of the world? Many at the start of the 2000s even had Matrix-style 360 camera shots and slow-motion wind-ups before you sunk that drive. Those were the good old days, but something that almost got directly in the way of this success was one rogue game developer, who decided that it would be hilarious to secretly include an episode of South Park inside every copy of Tiger Woods PGA Tour 99. Simply put that PS1 disc in a PC, explore its contents, and you could find a file called ZZDummy.dat. Open this and you can watch Jesus vs. Santa, a precursor to what became South Park in full, but still featuring Stan, Kyle, Cartman, etc. Obviously, this violated many rules as to what customers thought they were buying, and EA called the act objectionable to consumers, pulling 100,000 copies from shelves in January 1999 to try and salvage their reputation. I can't imagine the levels of pure tea-heery that went into smuggling an episode of what was then a hugely controversial show into a game, game, and it makes me wonder if there are any other games with secret TV episodes undiscovered to this day. And that is all for now. Let me know your favorite hidden cutscenes down in the comments below and particular favorites from this list. Also, if you get time, check out the WhatCulture Gaming Podcast. I think you'll like it. I've been Scott from WhatCulture.com, and I'll catch you soon.